They say the dead should be left in peace. But what if the dead cannot find peace? What if a secret keeps them bound to this world, whispering on the wind, waiting for someone to listen? My name is Chinonso Okafo, and this is the story of how my sister's ghost saved me from a lie. I live in Umusu, a quiet, peaceful village in a Abia state where life moves with the rhythm of the seasons. In 2 weeks, I was supposed to marry the man I loved, Abinat. I had dreamt of this day since I was a little girl, imagining every detail, the gleam of the coral beads against my skin, the crisp white lace paired with a fine George wrapper, the joyful beat of traditional drums echoing through the compound, the laughter of my family, and at the center of it all, Obino gentle, kind, God-fearing. He was everything I had ever prayed for. Or so I thought. That was before the past returned to speak, before a ghost from my own family decided my wedding would not happen. My elder sister Adora died 3 years ago. The most tragic part. She died on her own wedding day. One moment she was the perfect bride, smiling, her eyes shining with hope. The next moment, she was gone. The official story was that her heart simply stopped. A sudden, inexplicable tragedy. She was only 26. We were all devastated, lost in a grief so profound it felt like a permanent fog had settled over our family. We buried her in her beautiful white wedding gown, her face looking so serene as if she were only sleeping. I remember standing by her graveside, tears blurring my vision and whispering into the silence. Adora, if love could bring you back, you would be dancing right now. I should never have said those words, because in a way she heard me. It all began the night Obina proposed. We were by the stream, the setting sun painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. It was perfect. When he asked me to be his wife, I said yes with every fiber of my being. My heart felt like it would burst with happiness. But later that night, as I lay in my bed, replaying the moment over and over, a strange chill settled over me. It wasn't just the night air, it was a deep, invasive cold. The kind that makes the hair on your arms stand up. I had the unshakable feeling that I was being watched by unseen eyes. In the days that followed, the strange occurrences escalated. They were small things at first, easy to dismiss. A mirror in my room cracked from top to bottom, with no one even near it. A sudden, biting cold would fill a room even on the warmest afternoon, then vanish as quickly as it came, and the feeling of a presence, a shadow just at the edge of my vision, grew stronger. It felt like someone was always there, someone who knew my name, someone who was waiting. Then the message came. It was from an unknown number, a simple text that made my blood run cold. Ask your fiancé about Adora before it is too late. My hands started shaking. Adora, what could Abina possibly have to do with my sister? I tried to push it away, to tell myself it was a cruel prank. But the strange events, the constant feeling of being watched, it all started to connect in a terrifying way. I needed to talk to someone, so I went to my mother. I showed her the message, my voice trembling. She looked at the phone, and a shadow passed over her face. She spoke softly, her words heavy with old sorrow. She reminded me of Adora's fiancé, a man named Akachukwu. He was Obina's cousin. After Adora's funeral, he simply vanished. No one in the village ever saw or heard from him again. At the time, we assumed he was consumed by grief. Now, I wasn't so sure. My fear drove me to the village shrine to see the old priestess. She listened to my story without interruption, her ancient eyes watching me intently. She cast her carries on the mat, studied their pattern, and then grew unnervingly quiet. Her voice was a low whisper when she finally spoke. "Your sister's spirit lingers here," she said. "She cannot rest. She was hurt, deeply hurt by someone she trusted completely. She waits for the truth to be spoken aloud." That night, my heart pounded in my chest as I waited for Obina. The priestess's words echoed in my mind. The truth must be spoken aloud. When he arrived, I couldn't pretend anymore. I looked him straight in the eye and asked the question I was terrified to ask Obina. "Did you know my sister before you knew me?" The color drained from his face. The fear in his eyes was my answer before he even spoke a word. Then came the confession, the words tumbling out in a rush of shame and guilt. We were close once," he stammered. He told me that he and Adora had a secret relationship. And then the final devastating blow. "She was with child," he whispered, refusing to meet my eyes. "It was mine. I was young. I was a coward. I was so afraid of the disgrace it would bring to our families. I begged her to keep it a secret, but she refused. She wanted our child." His voice dropped lower, thick with regret. "I gave her something, an herbal drink from an old woman in the next village. She told me it would just calm her, help her, forget the problem. I swear to you, Chinonso, I never meant for any harm to come to her. I never thought. But the next day, she was gone." In that exact moment, as the last word of his confession hung in the air, every single light in our compound flickered violently and died, plunging us into darkness. A sudden, powerful wind ripped through the yard, howling and tearing at the trees, even though the night had been perfectly still just a moment before. And in that chaotic darkness, I felt her. I felt Adora's presence all around me. But it wasn't anger I felt. It was a profound, heartbreaking sorrow. It was as if the truth itself, finally spoken aloud, was the only thing that could release her. She was finally free. The wedding, of course, was called off. There was no joy left, only the wreckage of lies. Obina left the village soon after. He couldn't face our family. He couldn't face the whispers. He now carries his guilt like a permanent shadow, a weight he can never set down. I visit Adora's grave often now. The air there is different. It's peaceful. I lay white lilies on the earth and I talk to her, telling her about my days, sharing my thoughts, just like we used to, and every time I feel a response. A warm, gentle breeze will stir the leaves, carrying the scent of fresh rain and something I can only describe as forgiveness. At last, my sister rests in peace, and I have learned a powerful lesson. Some truths are buried for a reason, but they never truly die. And some doors, once they are opened by that truth, can never be closed again. Thank you for listening. If you are moved by this story, please like, share and subscribe for more tales from the crossroads of the seen and unseen.